We have just limited time, but I'd like to take just two questions before wrapping up this session. The first question is, Napraj-san from Edinburgh University. Japanese and German governments, in terms of coal-fired power plants, export policies, or fossil fuel export strategy, I think there are some discussions taking place in the UK as well as in France, but whether such discussions are taking place in Japan as well as in Germany to change the government strategy in terms of export of fossil fuel systems. So Tamura-san, would you like to answer this question from Japan side? And Karen-san, would you like to answer this question from German side later on? So to put it very simply, as long as I know, fossil fuel support to be completely banned and halted, such policy discussion is not taking place. But rather, what's being discussed is within the growth strategy of Japan, make contributions to carbon neutrality. That is the focus of Japan's policy. That is the description used. But to completely ban or eliminate Japan's support for fossil fuels export, that's not been discussed. Thank you very much. Mr. Khan, would you like to answer this question?
Yes, I would like to add to the question.
What do you think for export?
Yeah, okay.
What are the discussion in your country?
The discussion in Germany, first of all, if we focus on KfW, KfW is financing exports. So we have excluded coal financing in internationally, and we do not finance coal infrastructure either. When it comes to fossil fuels, there is, for instance, gas to some extent is Paris aligned, and other fossil fuels until 2030 are also. So that is the decision we took is we want to be Paris aligned, which excludes coal, but includes to some extent fossil fuels as gas or oil. When it comes to German Export Credit Agency, which is not KfW, that is important. I understand that the same discussions are ongoing.
Thank you very much. Mr. Khan, just to clarify, there is a follow-up question. So 80% of the carbon emission is from 8 to 10 sectors. So apart from steel and cement, what are these sectors?
Those sectors are, let me notice if I can recall them all by heart. That is energy, that is steel, that is chemical industry, that is automotive, that is shipping industry, that is aviation, that is agriculture, and the rest I can't recall at the moment.
Thank you very much. This seems to be the area where people have a lot of interest. What are the industrial sectors that you're focusing on in dealing with this issues? Now, unfortunately, we have run out of time, so I would like to summarize the discussion in the end. Today, we heard about the situations from Japan and Germany. 2050 net zero goal had been announced and how the two countries are dealing with the objective. We heard about their experiences and what they're doing. What in Germany we heard about the alternative power source, what to do with local communities and employment. There are important topics, including Japan, what to do with the industrial energies. The renewable energies vary depending on the status of nature. How should it be merged into the grid? And how should consensus be achieved for various policies. I think we have learned a lot from the German experiences. In the second half of the session, we have heard of the global efforts towards decarbonized society, including developing nations. From Indonesia, we heard that more so than the industrialized countries, the efforts for decarbonation is a major challenge. But there are support from researchers, from the financial institutions, and for private companies, there are difficulties. But the activities towards decarbonization is major business opportunities, market opportunities, including developing nations. However, in developing countries, as we heard from Fabi-san and Miyabe-san, the regulatory agencies or promotion of the investment and formulation of projects, there are difficulties or challenges in promoting businesses in this area. And how, in collaboration, do we deal with those issues? This is one very important topic, as we have heard today. Governments, the local governments, the private sectors, the citizens will all have to collaborate, which will be very important. I'm sorry because because the time is limited, we could not answer all the questions we have received. But in the webinar today, we started with the experiences in Germany and Japan, and then we heard of international collaboration for decarbonation of the international community. We heard of coals, exports, strategies, support of export of renewable energies. I think we have heard of various perspectives. To all of you who have given us the report, the panel members, thank you very much for your participation. Some of the questions are related to the documents, the slides, and as we have explained to you, the documents that the presenters have agreed will the report, the slides will be on the IJUS web page at a later date if the speaker agreed. And this is going to be the end of the meeting. It was a 2-hour meeting. Thank you very much for your participation to the speakers and the audience. And now we close the meeting. Once again, thank you very much.